4 downs, 4 questions, 4 answers. The Dave Hooker Show.
Four
Downs, a presentation of OffTheHookSports.com.
All right, Fred. So going through the combine or pro day, what's the worst part of that? Eating your skivvies in front of everybody, that part seems really uncomfortable.
You're already doing that in the locker room anyway. I mean, that doesn't matter as much. It's the questions. It's answering the same questions over and over and over again from each team. And they ask you some of the same stuff. And it's like, hey, man, yeah, we should have just all been in the same room at the same time. So I don't have to answer all these questions over again. I'm not changing my answer. That is my answer. And that's it. Okay?
That's a perfect lead in to second down. What was the dumbest question you were asked at the combine?
It's been so long, Dave, I can't remember the dumbest question. But I was asked a question.
Some of the questions that have floated out have been about your preferences in dating.
Yeah.
I hope you weren't asked anything about that.
I was asked that. I think everybody was.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. One of the questions that I think pissed me off more than anything was, I can say that on radio, right? I can say that. Yeah,
yes, you can. There's no say whatever they say.
They asked me, was I a product of a broken home? And I was like, excuse me? And the guy asked that question again. He actually looked me right in my face and asked me the same question. I said, my home wasn't broken. It was whole. I don't know what you mean.
Well,
nothing in my house was broken.
Okay, one of your coaches told me that the best linebackers were beaten as children. I'll just say that.
Oh man, I didn't know.
I'm just throwing that out there. All right, the dumbest drill is what?
The dumbest drill
that does not
show. It's probably the standing broad jump.
Okay, all right.
When am I gonna jump? Try to jump 10 feet in a football game in length. I mean, name a time in a game that I'm gonna jump 10 feet in length. I'm never gonna do that.
Oh.
If I do that, I'm not gonna make any plays. That's like a kid being out on the football field looking for flowers.
It's field day. It's exactly field day. I'm ready for them to like this is the sack race or the 3-legged race. What
thing I was doing is throwing eggs.
You're
catching eggs.
When you were at the combine, there was a guy named Tom Brady. He probably didn't stand out. He looked like he was like me at 22 years old. But what player stood out at the combine that you looked at in your combine and you said, holy cow, that guy's good?
There was a few. It wasn't just one. It was many. Man. I can't even know. I don't even know where to start. But I will say this. I had a lot of those guys on my own football team. And one of those guys was Jamal Lewis. Watching that guy that big run that fast, and that was insane. I mean, he was on the same team with me. But I still remember that guy running the 4.3 140, and I'm sitting there thinking to myself, holy, that boy's fast.
Yeah, he was real fast. Caleb, I know, wants to turn it to Byron Young and some current balls going through the combines. Go for it, Caleb.
Yeah, Fred, I don't know if you saw it yesterday, Byron Young clocked a 4.48 40, and which is ridiculously fast for his position.
Yes.
And we know how much of a hard worker he is. We know how smart of a player he is. How much do you think this helps his draft stock?
I think it helps it tremendously. He's a guy who's also still kind of very raw. And you look at, he didn't have any scholarship offers out of high school. He worked at the General Dollar, man, and worked out for a junior college team that didn't even have a season because of COVID, and then gets an opportunity at UT. I'm so proud and happy for that kid. You have no idea. To watch him run that fast, and he looked good. He tested very well, and he's a guy who's still raw. Whoever's getting this kid, they may be getting a project. It's a project I think is projected in the right direction. He's going to be a football player that can play a long time on Sundays.
Yeah, I go in a Dollar General store, and I do it because I'm cheap and poor. But I get a little depressed. I can't imagine actually having. I don't want to knock Dollar General; they may soon be a sponsor on the program. But how he pulled himself from that into a college football player and now an NFL player is just beyond me.
That's the part that's part of his story, which I think will, forever be a part of what you got to look at and say, you never give up on anything. You never quit. And he didn't, even though he didn't see a way because no one offered him a scholarship. And I'm sitting there trying to figure out how the heck did that kid not get offered anything? Someone missed the bar somewhere where he didn't get a scholarship offer. I mean, for a kid to not play football for 2 years and come to the SEC football team and start for 2 years and get to the combine and run that fast, someone missed the boat somewhere. But this kid, I'm happy that he's gotten to that point, and I'm happy to where he can go out and do something for himself and tell that story to let people know that you don't quit, you don't ever give up. And like you said, Dave, I go in some General Dollar stores sometimes, and it's like, man, okay, I guess that was what he needed to help him get to where he was going. I'm happy it was part of his story because where he's going now is even a bigger part of the story.
Quick embarrassing story. I went to Dollar General for Valentine's Day for my daughter, my wife, and waited in the line for like 5 hours because they always have the longest lines in the Dollar General store. Do they not? And got up there, waited, had the balloons, put it all together in separate packaging, and she rings it up. And my card was declined because it had a fraud alert on it. So I'm like I'm the poorest guy at the Dollar General store, Fred.
One of the reasons why you don't complain about being in the dollar store, you don't complain about being there. And you don't complain about being in the line because the line's going to be long.
Yes.
Well, before you even walk through the door, the line's going to be long. So you just wait.
Yeah, but you hope your dad playing card works. Go ahead, Caleb.
Dave, I could imagine. I wish I was there to take a picture of your face when it happened.
Well, it was that, and then it was the phone conversation with my wife about it. What is the deal? And she goes, "Oh, come on." Sorry.
Did you have to go to the back of the line?
Oh, I had to leave it because I could still use the ATM. I just couldn't use the card, so I had to go get cash, then go to the back of the line, then repackage the gifts.
Oh gosh, that's bad.
Not a happy day.
That's funny.
I mean, complaining about a line at Dollar General is like complaining about a Spirit flight and not going the way you thought it would. Sorry.
I hate that. By the way, man, never again Spirit flight. It went to UMass. Not doing that ever again. Current players you want to touch base on, Caleb?
Yeah. Spirit breaks your spirit. That's what we say.
Gotta have some spirit.
Fred, all right, here, I want your hot take side on this because Dave and I have a bit of a hot take of a couple receivers at the combine this year, which is Jalen Hyatt. We know won the Biletnikoff, but we both think that Cedric Tillman's actually a better pro prospect than Jalen Hyatt. What do you think?
I'll go so far as to say, Fred, I think that Jalen Hyatt is overrated and a product of the system. Am I insane?
I think you're insane. I think you're insane.
Fred.
There's one thing that you can't teach. That's speed. There's one thing you can't teach is, you can't teach some of the things he's born with. He's worked hard for those things too. I watched Jalen not be very good that first year they came. And then last year lit it up. And he lit it up out of necessity, and everybody on the football field knew he was getting the ball in certain situations, and he still lit them up. You can't go for 5 touchdowns and against Alabama and not be worthy of being a good football player. That's not just system. That has to be, that has a lot to do with him too as a football player. Do I think Tillman is a more well-rounded receiver? I do. I think he runs better routes because he was asked to do different stuff in the offense, in my opinion. Does he have good hands? Absolutely. Do I think they both can be good at the next level? They can. I think Tillman is a guy whoever gets Tillman is going to get a steal. Because of his injuries, he's probably dropped in the draft. If he was healthy the entire season, I put Tennessee right there in the national championship, in my opinion. Not, losing him on the other side of Jalen made it harder for us to be able to beat teams like Georgia. We needed all hands on deck to beat a team like Georgia. And I think it would have been a better showing, better outing, even though we did a really good job against them. Having Cedric Tillman at 100% all season, we're a different football team, period. Because the ball can go to either side and you can't double team not one guy. You have to cover the one-on-one, and I take my chances with both of those guys one-on-one against anybody in the country. But any secondary guy, you can take the number one corner right now. You put them up against them in our offense one-on-one, I'm taking our guys. So I think they both can make it to the NFL and do really good. I think Tillman will drop in the draft just because he didn't play as much this year, but he is going to be a guy that can play in the NFL for a long time because he has all the tools.
Let me ask you this. We've taken up too much of your time. I greatly appreciate it, Fred. You know I love talking to you. But let me ask you this. Darnell Wright will be a Pro Bowler, All-Pro, or Hall of Famer if you had to pick one of the three.
It's hard for me to say someone's going to be a Hall of Famer.
Right.
That's something that, it takes – you got to be one of the best, in my opinion. Can he be? He can. Will he play in the NFL for a long time? I'm going to check that box for sure. All-Pro, I think he can do that too.
I do too.
I think he has it where he can be that next lineman that comes out of Tennessee. We've had a lot of guys come out in the last few years that have played a long time, and he's going to be the next one.